And we're live.
We are
I
live.
usually give it a second because it takes a minute. Like I haven't seen it on my laptop switch over yet.
Yep.
Now it's switching over. But
Yeah,
what's going on, guys?
now I can see Jay's
Oh, hold
comment.
on. My bad. What's going on, everybody? Hey, what's up, Jay? Lala, Tracy. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. Let me scroll up and just make sure I didn't miss any comments.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's just Lala, Jay, and Tracy.
Yeah, people will come in, and we'll get people later.
Oh yeah, because
Um,
I said it was gonna be around 1. I just figured if we went early, at least if anything went, sideways, we could fix it.
yep, absolutely, absolutely.
I like when I
Um,
went live for Dawn's story, oh my God, Edward had to literally fix my entire thing. Like I said, he had to hack
mhm.
my email and everything. It's like, are you logged on to your email or the PP Mass email? And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, because you don't go live a lot. That's understandable.
You
You
know,
know, there's some people that click the link and they're like, I can't get up. You know, because
right.
of the browser they're using.
Oh yeah.
But I have always used Chrome.
That's what I have. I went right from the Chrome, like, because at first I thought I had to use the app
Yeah.
and it wasn't. I couldn't do half of the things that I was able to do on the website itself. So I was
What's up,
like, "Oh,
Dragonfly? Kodiak,
hi, Mackenzie.
Jeff. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us today. Good afternoon.
Hey,
Well, it's
Kodiak and Jeff.
afternoon for me. So,
Yeah, right.
mm-hmm.
It's afternoon over here too. I know
Well,
the boys.
we're the same time zone.
Yes, yeah. I was gonna say, what time is it there for you, Kodiak?
I think she's 5 hours ahead of us, five or
Did she?
six. Yeah, roughly.
I was gonna say, for some reason I thought it was like that. Yeah. So you guys, what we figured we'd probably do is we'll anybody can come up at any point if they want to talk, tell their story, whether it's your story about your recovery, active addiction. Gotcha. Thanks, Kodiak. Or even your survivor story. Anything, that you feel comfortable enough to talk about or want to talk about. That's really what we're here for, so people can find other supports, and just like feel a little bit better knowing they're not alone. So we figured we'd tell you guys a little bit about us, and kind of get the stream going that way. So we'll give it a few minutes and let some other people get in here, and then that way we'll be closer to 1 o'clock when I told people we'd be starting.
Yeah, and we'll get quite a few that'll watch the replay. You
Oh,
know,
absolutely. Yeah.
mm.
That's what
Like my
happened.
lives are. I take them down.
Hmm.
Some people don't like that, but um, you know, it's only for the real ones. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that get the notifications. It's a personal live between like the people closest to me because they're the
Yep.
ones that come in. You know,
Oh,
so sorry to
absolutely.
cut you off, Jules. My bad.
No, no, you're fine.
All
I
right.
was just gonna say that's what happened when I went live for um Dawn's story. Ooh, holy boobies, guys. Sorry. I can't even see Dragonfly's comment now that I did that.
Being on camera for me is I'm echoing again. Now it's good. It's nothing because I've done it so much, you
Right.
know. So it's second nature to me, you know. But
It doesn't really bother me being on anymore. Like when I first um like started telling my story and stuff, it was a little bit, it was like nerve wracking, but
hmm,
kind of got to the point where it was like, whatever.
yeah.
You know?
Well, for me, that story obviously only one person knows about it, and that's you.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, in this
Oh,
community, yeah.
I feel honored. I
Well,
love you too, Kenzie.
you know. But yes, I'm a two-time survivor myself of sexual abuse. So yeah.
I'm super like happy that you like, trusted me enough to tell me about it. I wasn't even sure the other day because I thought that's what you had said, was that you hadn't really told many people or whatever. But so that's cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, a lot of people know I'm a two-time survivor. They don't know the circumstances surrounding it. I told you the circumstances surrounding it, but people do know I'm a survivor myself in this community.
Yeah.
So, um,
I
you
feel
know,
like it helps us too, like when we're open about it, you know what I mean? Because we're getting it off of our chest, you know what I mean? It's like I told Dawn, it kind of gives us each a way to make that weight so much lighter. You know what I
hmm
mean? Because all the other people that are in the community that want to help you are now willing to help you carry that weight. So it's not so heavy for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And of course, you get the trolls that sit in the bushes that'll take info and do what they want with it, you know. But
Yeah,
the majority are good people, you know. So um,
absolutely.
yeah.
I mean, that's the way it works, you know. Like I said, when we did Dawn's, and even with Crystal Roach, like anybody who had a negative thing to say while people were telling their stories, I just had the mods get them out, like you know,
Yeah.
because it's hard to tell your story to begin with, and for the people who are literally telling it for the first time, it's gut wrenching, you know.
Oh
So
yeah, absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely.
I don't like to take no crap when it comes to that, you know.
Yeah. That's totally understandable. That's a stage that nobody's ever been on before, you know.
Right.
Even if you're the most affluent public speaker, speaking about that subject there is it's a tricky topic, you know, so
It's
it's understandable, you know.
absolutely
It is.
it's definitely tough for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I always just want to make sure that they feel comfortable. So hopefully Jay seems to me the only mod in here. I know I was gonna and I didn't I came on StreamYards before. I should have went on
Yeah,
YouTube first and handed out some wrenches
yeah.
before we went live. Um, I don't even know. Can I like exit off and like, or no?
You
Will it?
you can kick yourself off like you did before, do the
Yeah.
wrenches. You just can't wrench straight from StreamYard on the device you're recording on. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? But if you
Yep.
were straight on YouTube, then you could mod. But
Okay.
yeah,
Let me see if I can do that. Let's see. Off grid, I have no idea. Oh, thank you, Jay. You rock, dude. Yeah, I have no idea off grid because I ask myself the same thing pretty often. Hi, me. It's just so messed up to think that like what we have been through, that somebody in our position would grow up and turn around and do the same thing that was done to us to another child or
mm-hmm,
another person and make them feel the same type of embarrassment and shame and like just feeling dirty. Like, you know what I mean? You're in your
yeah,
head 24/7. I mean, I used to cut from all of my trauma, and I am like, I think to myself when we see some of these guys that they catch, it's like I don't understand. Like, why would you do that? Why would you put somebody in
yeah,
that position? I would never want to see another kid in their head the way I was in my head. I've been in the psych hospital. And especially for cutting really bad on my arms, I was there for 3 weeks. But it's like thinking about how alone and scared I was. Like, I would never, ever want a child to feel that. Like,
yeah,
if I could help it, so I have no
absolutely.
idea.
The majority are. I mean, that's a stigma that doesn't apply to all, but the majority of abusers were abused.
Yeah.
So like you and I, we're both survivors in that aspect, but would never touch a kid in that aspect. I mean, there is the exception to the
Right.
rule. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's for sure. That's for sure. So for people to say that all people that were abused are abusers is highly inaccurate.
Right.
I couldn't tell you what the percentage may be, but um, they're not all like that. So
Well,
yeah,
that's very true. I feel like the ones who have been hurt, damaged by it mentally, to the point that we have maybe not wouldn't grow up and do it. I don't
mm,
know. But there are some that like you listen to them telling their story and it's like, I mean, it sounds horrific to me, you know,
absolutely, yeah,
that I'm just like shocked you would put a child through that. So, I mean, I don't know, but I just genuinely for a long time it felt like that, that if you have been through that severe of a sexual assault trauma,
yeah,
why you would do that to someone else.
yeah,
Thank you, Jay. Hi, Jay Tello.
yeah. What's up, Jaime? Jay, Jay again. BP Mesh Jay. Off grid. I'm looking at my laptop to the left. Just don't want to miss anybody. Of course, Tracy, Lala again. Dragonfly. Um, yeah. So, um, I was gonna say something, but I got stuck on stupid for a second here about it was a segue to what you were just saying. Oh, so a lot of people ask me, does it affect you today? I mean, obviously this isn't a sexual abuse survivor stream, but we could segue a little bit off of what PCI and PCM did last night. Did you see that?
Yes, well, that's
Yeah.
why, like I told Shonda, that was the goal of this, because it literally, to me, it's all linked. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
especially in this community. I feel like we so like after the sexual assault, like whether you're a child or an adult, a lot of people want to temporarily like hide that pain, you know what I mean? They just want to cover it up or stuff it down, and so they start using, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was prescribed to my pain medication. Sorry, hold on. um But yeah, I was prescribed to my pain medication, and I like for the my spine. So I abused it because I knew how it made me feel. I wasn't feeling, the emotional pain from any of the trauma that I had dealt with, like, you know what I mean? So
Mm.
it was like a good cover up for me. I just took it to an extreme, apparently.
Yeah. Well, because everybody has a different story, and some are worse than others. I don't like to diminish anybody's story whatsoever. Because it's horrific for anybody, no matter what or how it took place. Um,
Right.
so I will look at everybody as, I wouldn't lessen one more than the other is
Oh,
what I'm getting
yeah,
at,
absolutely.
you
I
know?
feel like they're equally as important and definitely need to be people need to think of them as being linked more often than they do.
Yeah. And of course, lately, obviously, I was in Locke's chat last night commenting, but I did stay out of chats for close to a week. Um,
Yep.
and that was the point. But if someone's live, I'm always there watching it. I'm always in
Right.
the background watching it, no matter when it is or who it is. So um, I'm always there. You know,
Right. Yep. That's what I do too. I mean, if I'm not chatting, I could be busy with the kids or whatever, but I literally always make it a point to watch or listen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I got my laptop, which you can have multiple tabs open. You know,
Yep.
this phone that I'm on now, and then this other phone. So it's, you know, I show my support to every catcher, you know.
Right.
You know, some are obviously, you know, different than others. I'm not going to say better or worse than others, but different, I will say, you know.
Yep.
So, and hopefully Jay gets that catch today. Didn't he say he had a catch or something today at like
Yes, yeah,
3?
it's I forget what time he said, but
Okay,
it is a sure thing.
nice.
Yeah, because I
That'll,
think he said Steph decoyed for it. He's just doing the confrontation.
okay.
So, which is cool. I can't wait. He's pumped.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, we got Steve, Crack Kills, Anna, or Aha. I don't know how you say it.
I know I always say uh-huh.
Yeah,
But
it
it's
looks
probably
like Aha. Yeah,
Anna.
I'll say Anna, you know. Don't want to miss anybody. So you want me to start now, Jules? It's
Yeah,
101.
yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right. So this is basically like a drugs and alcohol recovery stream for anybody in the community who may be struggling or is clean and just wants more of a support system around them. You know, for me, it started back in 1990. Okay, I was 12. Okay, my mother used to leave her cigarettes out all the time, so I used to go and sneak her cigarettes at 12 years old and smoke. I'm just getting into the every type of addiction type of
Yep,
thing, because that's an addiction. Same with coffee and your caffeine.
exactly. I was
You
just gonna
know,
say it's
it's a big
all an
addiction.
addiction.
Yep. So it's probably 1990. Um, off, and I started smoking then. Not much, but little by little. Um, by 14, we had moved to Florida. My mom, my stepfather, my stepbrother, my stepsister.
Mm.
And by then I was full blown smoking cigarettes, smoking pot. There used to be this Dairy Queen that I could go to. They were selling out of the place. They got raided one day. And I could go there. I could buy cigarettes. I could buy my weed. And they were selling harder stuff. But at 14, they wouldn't. I didn't know
Right.
about it, but I found out later they were selling
Yeah.
harder stuff. Um, but the 3 drugs that I've never done in my life, and then you could figure out all the rest of them that I've done. But
Right.
I've never done meth, I've never done PCP, and I've never done Molly. Everything else I've done. Shrooms, acid, coke. You know, opiates were my thing though. I was an opiates person, you know. So it started with pain pills. And I had back then I had a good connect. This old man, he had thousands of them, and he would sell them to me for $1 a piece. You know,
Right.
Vicodin tens, you know, for $1 a piece. That's unheard of.
Right.
You know, so um, I was taking them, um, and then I got to the point where the heroin was much cheaper. You know,
Yeah.
and I never shut up. Thank God.
Yeah.
I always sniffed it, but I know what it feels like to be shot up because I've had doctors do it when I've been in the hospital. I've been mainlined with Dilaudid and morphine, so I know the
Right.
feeling that heroin would do just the same. Um, so never got into shooting up. I always sniffed it,
Right.
you know,
That's
and
good.
yeah, yep. So yeah, which is really good because once you start shooting yourself and you get marks all over yourself and finding a place to go in, I've seen it, you know.
Oh yeah, I would wear hoodies and sweatpants all summer long, sweat my ass off.
Yep,
You know?
yep. So and that was basically it, you know, all the way up until 2010. That's when I got clean. So I myself have been clean since 2010.
Yeah.
Um, you know, Jules, since her, so combined, Jules and I have about 20 years of clean time, um, which is awesome,
Phenomenal.
you
It's
know?
phenomenal. Yeah.
Yeah, you know? So that's basically the point of the stream is because there's definitely plenty of people in this community that are struggling right now. There
Absolutely.
absolutely is. So the point of this stream is to bring awareness to, listen, you have a support system here if you want it. And that's pretty much it,
Yep.
you know?
And that, I mean, that was why, like, I titled the stream, so it's Friends in Recovery and Survivors stream. So that way, like,
Absolutely.
people will know, you know, it's literally a bit of everything. And because it, you know, is all linked together, you know, it kind of fuses together in some form or another, you know.
Hmm.
So I figured it'd probably be the most important to have. I haven't seen anybody else kind of touch on both. But a lot of people I notice when they're talking about their survivor story or their addiction, they bring up the other, you
Yeah.
know. So um, I figured it would be, you know, a good idea. I've told my story on JDQ. He was actually the first person I told my story on. And I was so nervous because that was my first time telling my story live on YouTube. So I danced around like I didn't tell the entire story. I was, you know, skipping through main points and, you know, um, but it was so, I felt so just like calm and more, you know, like at peace with myself, I guess, after.
Yeah.
So, I was pretty happy with myself. So he kept telling me, if you ever want to come back on and tell your story again, like please do. You had people crying and I was like, well, now I feel bad. You know, but he was like, no, no, no. It was, you know, people were crying in a good way, you know. So, um, I ended up telling it on his stream again. I think it was last year, maybe it might have been. Um, I don't even remember. That's terrible. I have a terrible memory. Um, but that's partly too because I purposely stuff a lot of my story. Um, you know, a lot of memories I have purposely stuffed them for years and years. Like the guy who sexually assaulted me when I was a freshman. Mind you, I'd switched schools because I was sexually assaulted at my other school. So I switched to another school. When I got to Neshoba Tech, I was sexually assaulted there. So
Mm.
I um I ended up quitting school. I just gave up at that point. I was like, you know, to me it was like I've been to two schools, you know, and sexually assaulted at both. It just wasn't really worth it to me at that point. So I I quit school, and at the graduation in 2000, I went to go watch my cousin Ricky graduate, and I seen the kid who sexually assaulted me, and I just threw up. I like couldn't even calm myself to process a thought or nothing. My friend Brian was like, "Hey, isn't that him right there?" And I was like looking around and like, "Oh my god!" Because I told him if he saw him, you know, like I wanted to get out of there. I didn't want to. I just want to make a beeline for the car and leave.
Yeah.
And so he pointed him out, and as soon as I saw his face, it was. I mean, I threw up in front of everybody. I was
Yeah.
like, "This is crazy embarrassing," but Brian rushed me out of there, and I almost immediately like felt better, like not nauseous. I just had severe anxiety, like was hyperventilating and stuff. And but so it's like, you know, little things like that can, you know, trigger your memory too, you
Hmm.
know, of the entire situation. Like after I was molested when I was 13, um, he was a really good friend of my uncle's, and they lived in Drake. And he they've been best friends for like decades. So I never, you know, felt uncomfortable around Stevie whatsoever. But um, one night, me and my cousin were upstairs and we were sleeping, and there's like a trick to the light bulb. Like when you go up the stairs to the bedrooms and stuff, like the hallway, they're light bulb. I don't know. You had to twist it and do something with the chain or whatever. And that's how close he and my Uncle Chip were, because he knew the trick. So, but he made it so you couldn't turn it on by the switch in the hallway. So he went in, whatever, and he molested us both. And like he had his face covered and stuff, but like me and my cousin talked about it in the morning when when my aunt called the police or whatever. Because it was like he used to wear those flannel, those heavy friggin' flannel button up coats or whatever.
Yeah.
So he used to wear those all the time with his pack of Marlboros sticking out of his top pocket. And he like told us if we spoke, he was gonna shoot us. I mean, we were petrified, but after he had left in the morning and stuff, and we told my aunt, I couldn't speak to the cops, but I told them, as she was talking to them, like, I told her I didn't want to say anything. I told them that I'm like, I'm fine. Whatever I could to not focus on the situation for myself. I didn't have the guts to speak up on it. She did. I went to court with her, and sat in the courtroom so she could focus on me the entire time. So that way it would make it easier for her. So he is currently locked up in Shirley Mannix for it. I mean, the way I see it is no, it wasn't directly for what he did to me as well, but it is,
Yeah.
So but yeah, I think about all that stuff, and like I could see like a pack of Marlboros and I get nauseous. Flannel like little things like that. The smell, because he would do chewing tobacco.
Yeah.
While he's smoking a cigarette, it was so gross. But just his smell, like, oh, like you know what I mean? It's like you'd start to smell something, you're just
Absolutely.
instantly like, that's where your head goes. So
yeah.
It just is like all the times that I stuffed, all the things that had ever gone on in my life, all the times I'd been assaulted or raped. It was, to me, easier to block it out with my addiction. So I kind of felt like being prescribed to perks and fentanyl, and I was on the Duragesic fentanyl patches, the ones with the gel.
Yeah.
I was supposed to have 175 milligrams every 2 days. So I had the 100 milligrams, the 50 milligrams, and the 25 milligrams. And I would literally take a safety pin, because the doctor would check the patches. You'd have to bring back the empty patches so he could check them. And I would use a safety pin and poke a hole in it and suck the gel out of it. And I'd be trashed for like 2 days,
Yeah.
And I would just sell like my perks, or I was also on the Oxycontin 80s. I was heavily medicated, so it was very easy for me to not really have to think about any of the stuff I've gone through at all. And that's how it ended up being. It was originally for my pain for the cancerous lump in my spine. And then I realized it was helping me to hide the traumas. The cutting and stuff was helpful. Unfortunately, it was. I dealt with physical pain a hell of a lot better than I dealt with emotional pain. So, cutting my arms, watching myself bleed was, I would much rather do that than be in my head,
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah.
But it kind of like got to that point too, where it's like, I didn't never tell my mom or nothing, but like, I'll never forget when I went to the psych hospital for the cuts in my arms. I did them with a razor blade. I kind of like dug into my arm and just ripped down. I never went and got stitches or anything. And it was like 2 days later, my arms were still bleeding through. So my mom had told us dinner was ready. And I went in to go get my food off the stove with a long sleeve shirt on. And she's like, your arm's bleeding. She's like, what is that? And I
Hmm.
was like, what? Where? You know? Like,
Yeah.
um, but so then she lifted up my sleeves and she was like, oh my God, Julie, like, we need to go to the hospital. But they told me we waited too long, you know, so they couldn't do much except for liquid stitches, basically,
Mm.
like they glued it. But so they made me go to the get evaluated and stuff. And my mom's like, you're not gonna get help if you're not honest. You know what I mean? Like, we really gotta nip this now because
Hmm.
what happens if you do it 10 times worse next time? Like, you know, and I was able to be okay enough to show her, you know, the ones I've done on my wrists and my legs and everything. And she couldn't believe it. She was like, how did I not know? You know?
Yeah.
But it's like, because I didn't want you to know. You
Yeah.
know?
Hmm. To
But,
them, it was horrific. To you, it was just normal. That's why,
yeah,
that's why you were just like, oh well, but and then when they see it, they're like, oh my God, that's totally understandable,
right.
one segues into the other, definitely, like I see a few comments in the chat, about using drugs to ease the pain of abuse. For me, it wasn't necessarily that, um, but could it have uh, contributed to it? Absolutely,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. But
Yeah.
I don't remember for sure.
Right.
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you send the link out? I keep hearing a beep and like somebody might be backstage.
Oh, let me see.
I could
Nope.
just be going crazy. Okay.
It could just be like when my phone actually, like, because I have it on vibrate instead of, so it won't ding.
Oh, gotcha.
So it could just be that. I don't even know how do I post the link in the chat, to be honest. Let me see.
She did that before. She'll be right back. Oh, while she's gone, I'll talk a little bit. I was never a drinker. I never liked drinking,
Okay.
to address the drinking. Did you,
I,
you
I
got
copied
the,
the link, so I'm gonna see if I can type it in chat now.
okay.
All right, let's see. Did I do that right? Okay. Type in chat. How did I do that last time? Oh, never mind, in the more button. All right, post a comment. So I'm gonna put the link up. So if anybody wants to join, um,
Yeah,
absolutely
absolutely.
feel free to.
Yeah, don't be shy.
Thanks, Cody. I'm slacking today.
Hey,
Um,
Kodiak. Oh, gee, what's going on? I'm looking at my laptop to the left.
let me
Um,
read some comments.
Watson, uh, JL or JJ. Yeah. But yeah, I was never a drinker. My father, many years, I grew up with an alcoholic father. He was in Vietnam, and he was abusive.
Yeah.
So, we endured that for many years. My mom took the brunt of it. So growing up watching my mom get, beat a lot, you know, did did do a number on me as well.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. And I was on a talking because my father passed last year. I was on a talking basis with him, but we weren't like close, you
Right.
know.
Yep.
Um, so he ended up getting sober for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then passed away last year of heart issues at 73.
Oh, man.
Um,
I'm sorry.
yeah. So, and then his mother died the year before. So I lost my grandmother, my father's mother in 19, and then my father in 2020. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was a rough kind of 2 years.
Yeah. I've been like
Um,
saying that too. Like, I feel like since my youngest daughter's father, he committed suicide, and I genuinely feel like it's been nonstop. Like, you know, so many deaths, like over and over. Um, my grandmother had passed the following year. A really close friend of mine that I like went to elementary school, I grew up around, Gimp, he passed away the following year after my grandmother. Um, and it's been like mostly, really close friends. And then 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, my a kid, I consider him like my nephew. I mean, I've grown up with his father and his mother since I was, God, like 5 or 6. So I consider him to be like a nephew to me, but he overdosed and passed away 2 weeks ago. So
I'm sorry to hear that. That's, that's a shame.
yeah,
That's definitely a shame. I've been to God knows how many wakes myself,
yep.
for different people, and a lot of people that like last night, did you see Frank's stream, Morals Over Money, about Nicole passing away? That girl that used to walk in
Yeah,
the road? That was
yeah,
so damn sad, you
yeah, it
know.
really was because he's been
hmm
covering her for a while.
Yeah, a couple of years that I
Yeah,
know of,
yeah.
and so to find
God,
out that she passed, was very sad to hear. Because if you followed his channel for a while, you knew who
yep,
she was. She was the girl that walked in the street
yep.
with holding the monkey teddy bear.
I was just gonna say, didn't she have like a stuffed animal or something? Yep,
That was
yep.
her world, the stuffed animal. Yep.
Yeah, because I've been watching him for the last 2 years. Um, yeah, right around the time like FM started catching. Because at first he was just a mod for Jay, and then he wanted to start catching and stuff too. Um, so I was around when he did the interview with Frank and stuff too. I mean, he's just an amazing soul. Like
Yeah.
the stuff Frank does is like, oh my God, like we need to have more people like him. To be
Yes.
honest, you know.
Yep.
Um,
Somebody that takes a trailer down to Kensington so people can take a shower. I mean,
yeah.
it doesn't get no better than that.
No. And he doesn't treat like, and the fact that he comes from, his addiction, and so he, is very genuine to everyone. Um
hmm
it's just it's awesome because there's so many people that are like, "Oh, well, if you're not in recovery, you know what I mean? Like they look down on you or whatever." And it's like, I mean, not all of us really have that strength yet. You know what I mean? Some of us aren't ready. Some of us just don't know what is going to come of us when we are sober. Like, this is a life we are used to living.
Yeah.
It's, you're comfortable,
Yeah.
so it is very hard to change that. And a lot of people don't understand that. They're like, well, if you don't want to be, getting high every day, then just don't do it. Simple as that. Like, no, it's actually not as simple
No.
as that.
Right. Exactly. I damn near freaking killed people to get my fix with opiates, robbing
Mhm.
people. I mean, people that haven't been there, they have no clue what
Right.
it's like. It's I've had many of people tell me that, oh, just stop. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
it's that easy.
No. And those are the people that just have either never been in our shoes or has never been as deep as we have been. Like, I literally lived under the bridge in downtown Fitchburg, and it shooting up every day. I mean, I didn't care if I was getting water from the mud puddles. I didn't give a shit. Toilet water, Mountain Dew, I didn't give a shit. I had no problem.
Yeah.
As long as I was able to, shoot up, I was cool with it. I didn't care. It was speedballing. I mean, I genuinely could have killed myself many times, but I started doing B&Es. That's why I went to jail.
hmm
Um, because it, was at that point where it was like, okay, well, we no longer have our own money, to be able to take care of our habit and, get that fixed, and So it's like every day you're waking up, that's your mindset. Like, I need to get off E. I need, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what am I gonna do? So, we actually had a guy who would fence for us, and he would literally put in like a request of things that like popular items that would get him a lot of money. And we'd stop at his house in the mornings, and he would give us each like two perks to shoot up before, two perk 30s to shoot up before we went out, and we literally called it work. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like, that's how sick in the head I was, that I'm like, oh, before we go to work, you think you can, give us a couple of, perks, like,
Mm-hmm.
um, and, we'd be literally in the car shooting up. Like, I mean, the kid that was driving, just, trying to shoot up while driving. I mean, it was bad.
Yeah.
I think the only real rules we went by was you never do a family member's house or a friend's house, and never go anywhere close to home. And also never when anybody is home.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not considered a home invasion. Um,
Yeah.
and it's like, I think about all this stuff now, and I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? Like,
Yeah.
oh my
We could
God.
have done life. We could have done life for
Yeah.
half of the shit that we did,
Yep.
easily.
Oh yeah.
And it's mind blowing.
I mean, and like at Framingham Women's Prison, they don't separate you. You know what I mean? Like, I literally walked around the yard with a woman in our town who had helped her boyfriend or husband or her kid's father, whatever he was, but helped him kill her son, and put his body in a suitcase.
Mm.
And she was literally just freely walking around the yard with us. Like, it was not like, I mean, she was in there, obviously not for a week. So why are we all walking around together? Like, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
not to minimize what I was doing, but I'm like, I only did a bunch of E&Es. I'm not out there like, killing kids and stuff. So it was really weird for me. And um, especially being put in solitary, that freaked me the hell out. Like, I was like, I'm claustrophobic. But there's no windows or nothing. Like, you can't tell if it's day or night. Like,
Yeah, that's the worst.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I got into a fight with a girl in there because she kept trying to tell me the chair I was sitting in to watch the news was her chair. And I had just gotten in there like 2 days before, but I'm like, you know, you have to remember, you have to have that mentality of, I'm not going to let somebody walk all over me, because the second I allow that,
Yeah.
everybody's going to think that's what it is. Like, so um, it's like, I have to stand up for myself immediately, even though I was petrified of getting in trouble and catching another charge and being
Yeah.
stuck for longer. It's like, I mean, it's either I fight for my life in here, or, I may not come home at all, whether I die in here or I'm in here, for a long time for another charge. So, but yeah, so we got into a pretty bad fight, and I sent her to the infirmary, and so they take you to solitary, and when they walk you across the yard, they put this Hannibal Lecter type mask on your face, and the spit bag or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You put that on. You have your handcuffs and your shackles on, and it's attached to the waist chain, so
Yeah.
you can barely walk. It is embarrassing to walk across the yard. I mean, it was a far walk.
Mm-hmm.
Looking like that, like, it's like, damn. So,
Especially wintertime. Yeah, it could be bad.
yeah,
You know.
exactly.
Yep.
So it was like, wow, like, what has my life actually come to? What is, I think that more than me being in jail itself was like a oh shit moment for me. Like, I don't want to live my life like this. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to be here. I'm good. I don't want to be here. Like, you
Yeah.
know.
It's
So
like so many people hit rock bottom, and yet they don't know that they've hit rock bottom, and they're not, and they're still in addiction and not trying to get clean. You know, because
right.
everybody says, oh, they got to hit rock bottom, they gotta want it. Well, to me, it's like, when is the right time? Every minute is the right time to
Yep.
get clean. You know,
Right.
because your next shot could be your last. It could be a hot shot, and you'll be, flying with the angels. You know,
Absolutely.
so.
And it's like everybody has a different rock bottom. You know what I mean? Like I've been through some pretty tough shit during my active addiction, and I tell you what, I surprisingly like seeing my daughters while I was stupid high, or them noticing my track marks on my arms. Like um I thought for sure I would be embarrassed to the point, because I tried to hide it from them for so long until they surprised me and my oldest daughter's father. Um, and they came over to the house we were staying at, and I thought I would be so shocked that, I mean, I continued to say the girls better not come here. I won't be doing this shit. Like, I'll literally go straight home and get
Mhm.
clean, like, and Sean's like, get out of here. No, you won't. I'm like, I think I would. And no, I didn't. I was talking to them and making up lies the entire conversation, like
Yep.
trying to cover my arms. And I knew they seen it when my younger daughter asked me to see my tattoo of my aunt's initials. She was there when I got it. So she's seen it.
Yeah.
Um, but she's like, "What's that, Mom?" And I was like, "What?" And so, I'm like crossing my arms, and she's like, "That right there, what is that?" And I was like, "Oh," I said, "You've seen that." I said, "That's Aunt Susan's initials." And she was like, "I never seen that before. Let me see it." And I was like, "No." I'm like, "What'd you guys come here for?" I knew
Mhm.
in my head, I was like, I knew. I'm like, "Yeah, she knows." I was
Trying
like,
to say it's a mosquito bite or something,
"Yeah, yeah."
you know. But yeah,
I'm
when
like,
they're young, it's different, young. But when they can comprehend well enough, they
right.
know.
Yeah. Yeah, because they were probably like, oh my God, they were like 16ish, like 15, 16 then. So they
Mhm.
absolutely knew. And they've known before that. Like I used to fall asleep while cooking. I'm surprised they
Mhm.
didn't burn my face. Um, or sitting on the kitchen floor trying to clean. I would get on my hands and knees, scrubbing the kitchen floor. Um, and I would just pass out, just completely, and wake up and be like, "Oh my God, like what day is it? What time is it? Like
Mhm.
how long I've been out, and it just I mean, it's been a long time. They have literally grown up seeing me like that. And so knowing like now that I have all this clean time, and they're obviously still supporting me, but they're just like all the time, they're like, "I'm so proud of you, Mom. Like it just is great to have you back, and to be able to like spend time with you and have you actually be there for it, not just physically there, but you're there."
Yeah.
um it's like I'm so grateful, that I got it right.
Yeah. I'm thankful that my when I got clean, my daughter was 6. She's 16 now. She'll be 17 in March.
Yep.
So when obviously I was using them way before she was born. She was born in 2005, and when I got clean, she was 6, so she still wasn't at an age to comprehend anything. So I lucked out there. She's doing very well. Like, she rarely goes on the internet. She'd
Love you
rather read
too,
a.
Jay. Be safe driving, please.
Yeah, yeah. Take care, Jay. Be safe.
And make sure
Um,
you text when you are doing the catch, so we know to hop off and come check you out.
yeah, yeah. Thank you, Kodiak. The stream deserves a lot more views. Yeah, and it's just, a lot of people will watch the replay. But
Absolutely.
like my daughter, she's good. She, like I said, she'd rather read a book than go on the internet. She's going to school for cosmetology.
Yep.
So I've lucked out. in
Absolutely.
that aspect, you know. She's my only child. She has, you know, a sister who's 5 that I treat as my own, also, you know,
Yep.
but because
And
her
like I
father's
said
a
too,
big drinker too.
that's a good choice, for her, the cosmetology.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah,
you
she can
know,
cut my hair, you know, she can
right.
do, you know,
Yep.
she can cut my hair.
Yep.
Even though I
Exactly.
just shave my head, I don't get haircuts. It's
Right.
actually long. I'm due to shave this off.
I was just gonna say it does look longer than normal, yeah.
Yep. I just been lazy lately.
Better
So,
call her over.
mm, exactly.
Dad's a little
Yeah.
lazy. I don't feel like cutting my hair, so can you come over here? Thanks.
Mm,
Bring the
yep.
clippers.
That's it. That's it. I've had the same pair of clippers for like 6 years. And it's not even like a crazy expensive pair, like because they make the cordless ones that are like 100 to 200 bucks.
Yep.
Um, it was like a $30 pair I got at like a Walgreens or something like that, and
Yep.
they've been sharp enough to last about 5 years now. You
That's
know,
what's up.
yeah,
I bought my boys it might be a pair of wall ones, but I got them from Walmart. They weren't stupid expensive. I think I probably paid like $50 for the entire kit, but it has all the attachments. Um, Obviously the little brush to clean it off. It came with the oil. They're not cordless, but you know, I've had them probably for the last like 3 years, and I haven't had to like get a new pair or not. Like they still cut the kids' hair like butter. I'm like, thanks.
do you cut the whole head or do you like just
Oh
cut
yeah,
it on the
no,
sides? Oh,
I've
okay.
done on Noah, I've done a mohawk. Chase hasn't really cared too much about the mohawk thing. He just likes his short and clean. He's like, you know. But
Yeah,
Noah likes all that fancy, crazy shit. So, like, I'll do mohawks for Noah, and like my brother and I know this dude who owns a barber shop, and he's absolutely amazing with like designs and stuff like that. And then also my brother Jordan. So they've actually been teaching me how to do little tricks so I can do things in Noah's hair. He's dying to have a friggin' Spider-Man in his hair. I'm like, no, like maybe a web or something small, but I'm not gonna do an entire Spider-Man face. Like, you know,
yeah.
he's sick, so he's like, Black Panther and Spider-Man is like his superheroes. He's all about them. So, but I have to literally convince him every time he goes to Juan's like, no, 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 Juan, don't do that.
Right. Exactly.
Don't.
Yeah. When they
But
go to school, that'll be standing out a little bit, you
yeah,
know. Even
yeah.
to this day, like you know, at my age, you know, my mom still gets mad at me that I shave my head. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like she hates it. She
Yeah.
goes, "Oh, it looks so silly." I'm like, "What do you mean it looks silly?" I says, "I get more compliments with a shaved head than I do when I have hair." I said,
Right.
"So is it me that's crazy, or is it you that's crazy?" You know? I said, "Plus, this is the way I like it. I don't like to have to get up and freaking brush no damn hair."
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
So. But my mom, she hates it.
Yeah.
She hates it. I
I
don't know
love the
why, but
boys. The boys have really, really cute, like fluffy curls. Like, so I hesitate sometimes, but they complain because it takes forever to wash their hair, so they're like, just cut it. Can you just cut it off? And
hmm,
I'm like, I guess so. Guess
right.
I'm crying and shaving it.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Yeah,
So like in the summer, I don't really mind because, they're 6 and 7, so, and they're boys, so they're out of control, active, and they both have severe ADHD. Plus they have child PTSD, so from my ex, so it's like they go through a lot of being hyper. Even at night, it's hard to get Noah to sleep. Really, last
yeah,
night he didn't go to sleep at all.
yeah.
We just had a visit with their dad too, so It gets tough for him to sleep for the first like week or so after a visit, but yeah, he all night. I had to actually leave lock stream because I'm like I was so focused on the stream, he was not having it. He's like, nope. He's
Yeah.
just stayed up, wide awake. I'm like, no, bro, we gotta
I
go to
seen you
bed.
type too. You're like, I need a Tylenol, but he's laying on me, you
Right.
know? I remember you typing that. I'm like, oh man, that's the worst. Hmm.
No. Yeah, he was cuddling up. I was hoping he was gonna fall asleep so I could just put him in his room and just get back to it. But no, I think it's like, sometimes you're like, yeah, no, they know I don't want to be sitting here, that I got shit to do.
Hmm.
And so they're like, yeah, I'm not gonna get up. I'm just gonna sit right here until you're done doing whatever you're doing. He's like,
Exactly.
thanks, guys.
Hmm. Exactly. That's why I like the spot that I'm in. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm single by
Yep.
choice, obviously, and I don't have my daughter with me full time,
Right.
or anything like that. But she's older, so it's not like I have little ones running around.
Right. Yeah.
Would I ever have a kid again? I don't know. It depends if I, ended up
Oh, not
with,
me.
you know,
I'm like, not
because
me. 4 kids later, I'm like, this factory is shut
yeah.
down.
Well,
It's
for me,
over.
I can't say that. Yeah, for me, I can't say because a guy can have a kid till he's damn near 80, as long
Yeah.
as he's
Yeah.
fertile. A woman, it's different.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely.
you know, like
Yeah,
my
I think.
daughter's mother was 26, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, 20, 24. No, yeah, 24 going on 25 when my daughter was conceived.
Oh, wow.
You know.
I had my oldest when I was 16, and my second daughter, I had her when I was 18, and then 15 years later, I had the boys 13 months apart. Um, but I'm like, even if I could have kids still, which I mean, I'm 40, so I can, but I know the four is plenty. I have two boys, two girls. Like, I don't need another one to
Yeah,
like make it uneven or any. No, I'm good.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but I mean, I absolutely love them and adore them 100%. But I'm like, I'm getting older. Like, I'm not as capable of running around as I was before,
True
like
that. Yep.
had my knee surgery. I actually have to go to the orthopedic oncologist in March because I have two tumors in my knee that they have to remove in the same knee I just had operated on.
Oh, wow. Good luck with that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
rough.
Yep. So I'm like, it's not the same. To like bend down and play Legos with them and stuff. Like I have to sit on the couch and like lean forward and build Legos, because I literally feel like my circulation is cutting off in my right leg because my knee is just messed up.
Hmm.
I walked around on a torn meniscus for 2 years and I have severe arthritis in my knees. So he went in and scraped off a lot of the arthritis and repaired the tear in it. But he's like, I didn't want to go too deep because of the tumors. So, Tracy, I enjoy the grandkids. They can go home.
Mm,
Exactly. That's why I told my daughters, I'm like, I'll be cool with it when y'all are ready to have kids because I can love them up and send them home.
yeah,
You know, 'Cause
exactly.
I can
That's
get some sleep.
that's right. That's right. That's what's good about that. And there's a lot of
Mhm.
grandparents that are forced to be the parents
Yeah,
nowadays,
yeah,
which I mean, it's great that they take that role, but some are forced into that role because they don't want to see the child go to state custody.
right.
So um,
Absolutely.
so hats off to all those grandparents that step in and act as the parents.
Yeah.
Too many
I would
people have
absolutely,
kids, you know.
yeah, and I would absolutely, if I was put in that position, I 100% would do it. I mean, no
Hmm.
question. But if I have a choice, no, no.
Hmm.
Um, I'm like, I'm exhausted. I'm like, I think because things went so hectic this time around too. Like my girls, they slept through the night. They played quietly. Like I didn't have to like really dote on them as much as I do the boys. But their fathers weren't really involved in their lives like that. And I wasn't in a relationship with them when they were born. So, but the boys' dad I was, and I mean, I was with him for 8 years, and I was like, it was completely toxic. I genuinely stayed for the kids,
Yeah,
but it was completely the wrong move, like he put his hands on Chase after like, the threatening to me, like, I mean, I put a restraining order on him one time, and they extended it for the year. After that, I let it go. I just was like, oh, we don't see each other. It's not that serious. I'm just not even going to bother going back into court. Um, but like I spoke with the victim witness advocate, and, she told me that they spoke with his parents and stuff to make sure that the guns were always locked up and stuff like that, and he wouldn't have access to them. So it kind of put me a little bit more at ease, I think. Like made me feel a little bit more comfortable with not having to go to court, you know,
yeah,
for it again. But almost within like 2 weeks, he it was hitting me up and, doing the I miss my family, like I really
yeah,
wanted to spend my life with you. I'm sorry. And I'm just was immediately like, okay,
yeah,
whatever you say.
right, exactly.
But once it was, turned around on the kids, that's a no go for me. Sorry. I don't care how
Yep,
long I've spent with you. Like, you put your
yeah,
hands on the kids, dude, and you're done. Cut off. No, not doing
yep,
it. But
yeah,
yeah, that's why they have a hard time sleeping now. They have nightmares and stuff because, all the stuff they've been through. So,
yeah,
um, it sucks. But, the DCF lady, when I had DCF, um, they opened the case when he had pushed my oldest son, and he was told he could get one supervised visit per week for 1 hour. And, but I had to move out or I was going to lose custody of the kids because I
hmm,
was then, allowing myself and the kids to remain in a dangerous situation. And
yeah,
so that's when I got my apartment, and I got here and I almost immediately was comfortable. It took me this whole 2 years that we've been away from each other and not in a relationship to get comfortable with not being in a relationship at all, let alone being in a relationship with him. Um,
yeah,
you know, so, but we've worked on, doing therapy with the boys twice a week, every week, this entire 2 years. They just ended therapy, um, like 3 weeks ago. Um, so, they're making really big, you know, um, strides and stuff. But it's just been still hectic, it's a lot of work, um, and with all the nightmares and sleepless nights, like as tired as I am, I still absolutely would not change it for the world.
yeah. And
I,
restraining orders are good, but I mean, there's so many crazy guys out there that go be that they don't. I mean, it's just a piece of paper. You know what
yep,
I'm saying?
yep,
And I don't think they do enough to. Well, there's obviously only so much they can do, but too
right,
many people get hurt and killed that shouldn't.
yeah,
Um, so which
yep,
is a shame.
absolutely, absolutely. It really is too. Like my niece has a restraining order on her son's father, and they meet at the police station every week for his one overnight. And with her having the restraining order and still being at the police station, he still violated it twice at the police department.
Yep. Some just don't care. Yep.
You know, it's like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, Tracy. Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, never again. Like, uh, he's lucky. I literally walked away and got an apartment and left it at that. You know what I mean? But if it wasn't for me, honestly, knowing I needed to be out here and be
Mm-hmm.
there for them, so I knew they had somebody who genuinely gave a shit.
Yeah.
I probably would have gone right back into jail. You know, would have just walked myself back to Framingham, like, you know, here you go.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
And there's so many mothers that you know, because obviously, you know, kids, some are planned, some aren't, you
yeah,
know. So there's too many having babies that shouldn't be having babies.
right.
Um, and not just one, but say three or four. It's like
Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
can't even take care of one and you're having three or four kids within a
right.
5 year span. It's like,
Hmm.
what the heck are you doing? You know,
Yeah,
like my
right.
daughter, she wasn't planned.
Hmm.
You know, my her mother went to, she was going to be a home health care aide, a CNA,
Yep.
and she had to go for a bunch of testing, and they were giving her like about to give her different vaccines. This was in 2004, because that's when she got pregnant. And they said to her, they're like, "Are you pregnant, or do you know if you are?" She goes, "Not that I know of." That's how we found out, was they did a
Hmm.
pregnancy test there,
Yep.
um, and we found out. But she wasn't planned, you know. But we wouldn't trade her for the world, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I was gonna say. I mean, none of mine were really planned. Um, I literally call them happy accidents. Noah, my last one, I genuinely had no idea I was pregnant with him the entire time until my water broke.
hmm
And they used to have the show on TV called I Didn't Know I Was Pregnant. And I would shit on their life every episode because I'm like, you know, I don't
yeah,
care who you are. I don't care how big you are. You
mm,
freaking know.
yeah,
There's no way you get pregnant with a child and you go an entire pregnancy and you don't know.
hmm
Come the fuck on. I'm like,
right,
this is all for, to do, have something, some type of a TV show. Like, this is crap made up.
yeah,
Um, and I was like, well, when I had Noah, I said, yeah, well, I guess this is somebody's way of showing me I probably shouldn't be talking shit. Uh, I
that's crazy.
had to have him by emergency C-section, and he was, I mean, my stomach didn't get big or nothing. I was breastfeeding Chase, so it wasn't like I, was lactating or nothing.
Yeah,
I was getting
not,
my depot shot. Like, there
yep,
was no, I mean, he was 3 pounds, 4 ounces when he was born. And he was literally laying up and down like this the entire pregnancy. So he was
wow,
never side to side. But when I started calling people after my C-section and I'm like, so I just had a baby. And they're like, bullshit. I literally
yeah,
saw you all summer in like booty shorts and a crop top. You, no
mm,
way. I'm like,
wow,
well, there's a baby here. And it definitely came out of my stomach. So, yeah,
wow,
yeah. Like, I'm dead ass. Um, and it was just so weird. He was born December 20th. So I couldn't, after the C-section, I couldn't see him immediately. So they waited until like 11:30 that night and they brought him down from the NICU to me, and he was in a little Christmas stocking. It was the cutest thing. The nurses put him in a Christmas stocking.
mm,
And I was like, the nurse was like, Merry early Christmas. And I'm like,
mm,
oh.
yep. It's right before Christmas. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the perfect gift.
right. Like, and here I am thinking that, Chase was my last, and nope. Somebody was like, yeah, oh, if you want to talk shit,
Yeah.
this is what happens.
That's why maybe never say never, you know,
Yeah,
because you never know what could happen, you know.
yeah. That's why I get to
Absolutely.
the point where I'm like, I just don't talk shit. If I don't know for a fact that it can happen, I won't won't tell you that it won't
Yeah.
happen. you know. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's insane. Yeah, that show, I forget what years it was on, Tracy, but I'll never forget watching them and talking so much crap, like a lot.
I've only seen the 16 and pregnant one or 15 and pregnant one,
Yeah.
those types, but I never seen that one. That's sounds interesting,
Yeah,
you
and I
know.
think it was actually called I Didn't Know I Was Pregnant. Um, just some insane stories, there'd be like women on there like just going about their daily life and they're like, I went to go pee and then a baby came out, and I'm like, how do you not like have pain before? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand, like, you know.
Yeah.
But
What bugs me is like how some go about it. Like I was reading that story about the girl, and I forget what state it was. I'd have to pull it up. That just drove to a dumpster and threw the
oh
bag with the infant in there, and the kid was alive. They found the kid like an hour later, you
mm-hmm.
know. It's like I understand you're scared, but they have the safe havens nowadays. Like take it to any church or fire station, this and that, and
Right.
you know, um, but now you're going to go to prison for probably, 10 to 20 years,
Oh,
um,
absolutely.
because
Yeah,
that's
because,
they don't call that a that's it's a manslaughter. Uh, I forget what, but it's lower on the spectrum, but you'll still get a lot of time for even if it's your first offense.
right.
And you're a juvenile, you'll still do like 10 to 15 years probably.
Yeah.
Um, over something silly like that, being
I,
scared and, not doing the
right.
right thing. Hey, FTK, what's going on?
If any of you
Um,
guys want to hop up here and chat or, maybe
hmm
talk about a recovery story or, any survivor story, anything, or just chat, whatever, you're more than welcome to.
hmm yeah,
If you guys need the link again too, I can post that again.
because in a little bit I'm gonna go to the store. I'll still be on here, but I'll just basically be on audio.
Yeah,
But
and I
I just
gotta,
want to get out of the way. Tomorrow's supposed to be crappy and like rainy, so I'd rather go out today.
right? Yeah, I have
hmm
to get the boys off the bus. I'll have to go outside at 3, so.
Yeah. But we basically gave everybody the rundown of, kind of our backgrounds,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah, and like Jay
so
said too, like, because we had chatted a little, so he knows, like, we wanted to make this kind of like a weekly thing. Um, I think this is, the type of like platform and stream that people are going to need. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I think it would be extremely useful for a lot of people.
hmm
Um, because like we were saying, it is really hard to come forward and talk about it. It's hard to even be comfortable about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like the more repetitive we are with it, the better it would be, you know. I think it will probably give people more of a positive outlook on it. You know what I mean? It will
Yeah.
almost become kind of like a habit, because we're doing it weekly, a routine or whatever. And
Yeah.
so it'll give plenty of people a chance to like pop on and, even just to say hi or whatever, so.
Yeah.
uh,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I didn't know if it was going to be, an ongoing thing, this stream, or weekly or bi-weekly. But yeah, I'm definitely down. Because everybody that knows me knows I got no problem being on camera and talking. I do it on
Yep.
my channel. Um, and I've been on many of different
Yeah.
channels, so you
Right.
know. But you
Yeah.
can come up and you don't have to be on camera. You could just let us hear your wonderful voices.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you just want to like come up and introduce yourselves at any point and
Hmm.
just to say hi or whatever, and then maybe in a couple of streams, like a couple of weeks from now or whatever, you may feel a little bit more comfortable and want to talk, but you guys are absolutely more than welcome to pop on just to say hi. It's whatever you guys are comfortable with doing and saying, but that's why we wanted to start doing it, so everybody can kind of start finding other people in the community who've been through what you've been through, whether it's for support, to find other people you can message to talk to privately, or do it here, or just a place where you can actually hear other people's stories and make you feel a little better, to go on the rest of the week kind of thing. Because I know sometimes for me, hearing somebody else's story can definitely give you hope, and it could just be because you had a stressful week, so I think doing a weekly thing would probably be a really good idea, and give people a place to go and, other people to turn to.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. That's for sure. And for the people that wouldn't want to come up, we know there's people in the bushes watching that can also get something out of this as well,
Absolutely.
which is good. So I always say if you could help one person, you did it right,
Right.
you know,
Yeah,
you,
big
you
time.
accomplished what you set out to do. So
Yeah, because I feel like whether it's your addiction or, your past trauma, it's not easy to talk about. Um,
mhm,
it is absolutely difficult to speak on, especially your first time. But it does get easier. Um, and it also makes it easier for you to continue to do the things you do every day,
yeah,
by not having such a heavy load, emotional load to carry around and weigh you down.
that's true. Absolutely,
Oh.
absolutely.
Kodiak,
My
I'm surprised you didn't get on here and talk to me in your little accent that puts a smile on my face every time. Shame,
mm,
shame.
mhm. Yeah, I hear so much about this accent,
I
I
know
love
this
I love accents.
this famous accent.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
in case, Kodiak, you want to come up here. I
Not
couldn't
putting you on the
even,
spot.
yeah, right.
Yeah, not putting
I
you on the
couldn't
spot,
even.
Kodiak.
I always said I wanted to try really hard to do an Ireland accent, an Irish accent, and nope, I'm
Hmm.
no good at doing other accents.
Yeah. I do them, but I'm not privy to doing it
Mhm.
in front of everybody,
Yeah,
but my friend did a really good Scottish accent. He was really good at that type of stuff, you
that's so
know.
funny.
Yeah.
I
And
always like listening.
what did you say?
I said I always like listening to different ones.
Oh, I love that stuff. Yeah, because the Scottish, the British, it's it all kind of sounds alike,
Yeah,
So it's English, but to us, if you don't hear it often enough, yeah, it can be hard to understand, but
right.
it's still English. It's just a different dialect.
Yep,
Um, so
yep, absolutely.
yeah.
I know so many people would say that, like, oh, like have you ever heard Kodiak talk? Like, and some people say they can't understand her, and I'm like, as long as her phone ain't cutting out, I can understand her.
Mm,
I think the only time I'm like heavily focused on what she's saying is if her phone is a little choppy, then I'm like, what'd you say? Or like if my phone is cutting out, I have terrible service in my kitchen.
mm-hmm,
And a lot of times if the boys are up and they're, doing their chaotic boy things, because it is literally like WWE SmackDown in my house on a
Mm-hmm.
regular basis. So, but it's like that's the only place I can go where it'll be somewhat quieter and calm. Like I could go in the bathroom, but they'll be like, "Mom, can you do this? Mom, I need help." Mom, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm literally in the bathroom, yo. Like I
Right.
might just be on the phone, but like, bro, I can't have 5 minutes. you
Mm-hmm.
know.
I get that with my friend Angel. She streams a lot, and she lives with her brother, sister-in-law, and their two kids, who are roughly your kids' age. So every time I'm on her stream, all I hear in the background is kids yelling. I'm just like, thank God I don't have to deal with that, man,
Right.
because I would lose my mind, you know. Hmm.
Yep. Like
And she
stuff
doesn't have
flying
to
everywhere.
neither, but that's where she's living though, you know.
Yep.
It's like, you know,
It's
so.
like, so she's still got to deal with it. Yeah. And that's what I say to people all the time. Like, if you are hearing things flying in the background, toys being whipped
Hmm.
around, or sounding like we're having a child fight club in my house, that's because we probably are.
Hmm.
you know,
Exactly.
oh, they
Yep.
are so full of energy. It's like, my goodness. I'm glad it'll be warmer this week, though, so we can get outside and play in the snow before it melts.
Yeah, the Northeast has had a cold snap. Florida's been cold too. It got down to like 29 the other night.
What?
Yeah. Um, it was
That's it.
35 and then 29. I mean, during the day it goes back up.
Right.
Um, you know, and this coming few days is going to be like 8. Let me check right now. Let me see. Let me go to AccuWeather.
Yeah, because
See
I'm
what it says.
surprised, Florida. I mean, I guess I don't ever really like look into it, but I just think Florida, palm trees, like probably like 90 degrees at all times.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's supposed to be today it's saying 82, tomorrow 85, Friday 85, but at night 60, 65, 62, 59, 53, 52.
Oh, send it.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. I'd be
Mhm.
so content with that. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, 80s, especially during the day, it can get, hot, but like, in the summertime, I spend all my time outside with the kids. Like, we don't, I know, Tracy. It's like 5 to 8 inches, I think we're getting again on Friday, I think. And we just had that huge storm too. So a lot of places by us got like 2 feet. So we got right pretty close to it, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah.
ugh.
I seen my old area on Long Island. They got like 20 inches in some spots, you
Oh yeah.
know. So,
Yeah.
yep. Went straight across. The city, the actual like city. I don't know how much they got, but the storm really went to the east more. Normally, it's the other way around. It goes closer in, and like the inland parts of Jersey will get like
Right.
2 feet and stuff
Yep.
like that.
That's
Because
what I was thinking was
yeah.
gonna happen, to be honest.
Hmm.
I kind of thought like more like towards the Cape or something was gonna get it worse, or but we definitely got hit pretty bad. I figured by the time it got to us, they'd be like, "Oh, we're just kidding, not 2 feet. You guys are gonna get like 3 inches."
Yeah.
They're like, "Yeah, psych."
I'm a big weather person, so I'm always
Mhm.
looking on the AccuWeather app on my phone
Yep.
for even different spots. Like if there's a football game on, I'll go
Right.
to the city where they're playing a game and see what the forecast is going to be, you know?
Yep. Yep.
That's why I was surprised San Francisco went into Green Bay when it was 10 degrees and snowing and knocked Green Bay out of the playoffs. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, that's nuts. I didn't even. Wow. I had no
Yeah.
idea.
You're not a sports person, I gather it.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll watch like big football games and stuff, but I don't sit and watch it every Sunday.
Mm,
I used to watch football all the time and hockey, um, but I just haven't really. I mean, honestly, the last 2 years since I moved in on my own, I don't have time to do anything that I
that's
want to do,
yeah. Yeah.
So it's like at night when they actually go to sleep and I'm super stoked that I have time for myself. I'm like, do I get up and clean because it's quiet or do I sit and find a TV show on? Like, what do
Yeah.
I do? But I end up finding myself in everybody's streams. So,
That
but
too.
I'm like,
Yeah.
at least I'm still getting some, woosah time, doing my
Exactly.
things while they're in school.
Yeah. Sports is one of the few things that make me happy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
I mean, my motto is, you only live once.
Oh yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but nowadays, obviously if it's, something illegal, I'm not a part of it. But if
Yep.
it's anything otherwise, I'm game for it,
Right.
so,
Yep.
you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, I figured I told my brother that because he's like, when are you gonna come back over and start like watching football and stuff again? I'm like, we literally just get super hyped up and start yelling like the kids the entire time.
Hmm.
you know but he was like, yeah, he's like, I don't care. He's like, anytime you actually are like ready to commit to this, come back over and we'll sit and watch football every week. And I'm like, oh yeah, let me get
Hmm.
myself back into a better routine with the kids and stuff. So just so that way it'll be a little bit easier for me once I'm not so like, oh my God, I'm not dealing with the chaos here and I'll go to the chaos there. Um, I'll be looking forward to it,
Yeah.
you
That's what my
know.
streams are about. My streams that I have, obviously, like I said, I private them afterwards, but
Right.
um, I just basically sit there and do a few scratch offs and commentate on sports that I'm watching, like whether it's a football or basketball game, and just
Yeah.
talk to the people that come in, the real ones that come in that are close to me.
Right. Yeah,
Because
because I was gonna say the
it's
last time you went live, I was in there. It was a really good, like, calm, chill stream. Like,
mhm.
you know,
There's
it's
no point
nice.
behind them really. It's just to sit there and just bullshit and tell you
Yeah.
about my day and you guys tell me about you guys' day and stuff like that,
Right.
So,
But I think it's needed though. Sometimes there's hi Jen. Sometimes there's so much like chaos and stuff. Um, exactly, Kodiak. There's just so much chaos, I feel like sometimes within the community that like having like people used to be like, oh my God, it's this is a boring stream or whatever. It's like I feel like we're all flocking to these streams because nobody wants to be over there listening to everybody yapping at a mile a minute, um
yeah.
or arguing every single stream. Like, to handle it, one stream, ever so often, that's one thing. But I feel like to be able to have more of the chill streams to go to, I think it's needed.
And that's
you
part of
know
what this one is about too.
Mhm.
It's,
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily have to be about, your past traumas or addictions. You
Right.
could just pop up and say hello and just, you know,
Yeah.
say anything. Um,
Right.
so absolutely. But Alex had a good catch this morning though.
He
Um,
did.
yeah, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, Tracy. We're gonna
That
be
was an
coming
early
off
one.
soon, so Variety can go to the store and I'll have to get the boys off the bus. But we will be trying to do this every week. I think that's gonna be pretty important. Um, not a lot of people knew that we were doing it, but now it'll be a thing that we want to try to do every week. I think it'll be a little bit easier to get more people in here that, will either want to tell their story, whether it's about addiction or, their past trauma, like their survivor story, or just need a breather from all the stress from the week. Um, and they may be in recovery and need a place to just vent or kind of chillax and not have to deal with it. So I think it's definitely gonna be a good thing to start doing for sure.
And it helps us understand each other a little because a lot of us only know each other from the chat, you know. But you know, anybody that's come to this channel and seen you in the past, they kind of have an idea of how you are. Same with on my channel, which I like to keep small. I did have a channel last year that was a monetized channel. I lost that channel because of cancel culture.
Oh, okay.
But
I feel like you
um,
told me about that. I wasn't sure.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it doesn't matter, what channel you are. They look
Mhm.
at Dr. Disrespect. They threw that guy off of Twitch, and he made them millions of dollars. So a
What?
platform doesn't care who you are; they'll throw you right off.
Yeah, that's true.
You
That
know.
is true. I
Hmm.
didn't even hear about that. Like somebody got thrown off Twitch, but
Oh yeah. Um, well, I'm big on social media because that's how I, make a living is
Mhm.
social media, and with selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace or eBay and all the different platforms. So I'm really good with technology and
Right.
that type of stuff. Yeah. So that's
Thanks,
basically all I
Jen.
got.
Yeah, and Jen, next time maybe you can pop up and say hi. That would be cool. But yeah, I think it would be good because we can get to know the people who we chat with in streams all the time.
Hmm.
Um, not everybody knows, certain people are a survivor or are in recovery, So um I do think it kind of opens up the doors too, So
Yeah.
the next person may feel a little bit more comfortable around you because they know, okay, well, they they've been through the same thing I've been through, So um I definitely think it helps to kind of let people's guards down a little bit and absolutely be able to feel more open to speaking and not because there was a couple of people yesterday that had said like, oh, I want to tell my story, I'm just not ready yet, and I don't want to tell it to somebody that like I don't know if they've been through what I've been through, if they're gonna understand. It's like that's a big thing. Like
Yeah.
there are so many people in this community who are survivors or and have are in recovery or are in active addiction and just unsure of like what roads to take to get to have recovery or whatever, so uh
Yep.
I do think it will absolutely be so much more helpful, um maybe take some weight off of people, and because it can build tension. I
Yeah.
know when I'm going through a lot during the week and I'm stressing out about a lot of crap and, just chaos here. It's like I could use the time to to vent about it, but
Yeah.
it also ties into like it's huge for my recovery, you know.
Yeah, a lot
I'm
of
one-
people see us as just screen names, but a lot of people don't realize that we speak to a lot of people off of
Right.
YouTube. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Like in this, the majority of the people in the chat, I talk to off of YouTube, including you, Jules. You
Yep.
know, so if anybody can have that, can have an ear to write somebody something if you're having a bad day or
Right.
this or that. It doesn't have to be in front of everybody on a catcher's live.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
that's basically the point
And
of
it's
this stream.
that's a hard spot to kind of open up because you want to focus on the catch,
Hmm.
but people could be going through so much at that very moment and not know who they can, message or, what
Hmm.
stream they can go into to kind of let it out, So,
Absolutely.
um, I don't know if you guys in chat happen to like feel like a specific day or time frame works best for you guys. For me personally, anything before 3 on the weekday is best because then we don't have the chaos of my boys running around in the background. However, if people can deal with it, me having to mute myself every 5 seconds, then I mean I'm absolutely cool with whatever time frame. But um, if you guys have any opinion on time frames or whatever, absolutely let us know. Um, you can comment either in the community post that's on this channel or message me or Variety,
Mm,
whatever
mhm.
works best for you guys. And then we'll just try to make it like we'll do it like a weekly thing, you know. Um, and that way every week, you know, people have a chance to come up and let off some steam, just, chat, you know, or tell their story or, whether it's about recovery or their survivor story or just
Yep,
straight pissed off from the week and just need to let it out.
absolutely. It'd be nice to have a few guests up here to to spin different things off of each other. Like right now, Jules, it's just you and I, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So we can only say so much, but we
Right.
got say 3 to 5 people up here, and this
Yeah.
person just heard me speak about this, and then they'll segue off of that and go on their own 10 minute, you know,
Absolutely.
thing and tell us. So so we hope we didn't bore you guys too much today. We just wanted to break the ice on this, and basically get it started.
Yeah.
To let people know they have a safe place to come and hang out and talk about whatever they want.
Yeah. And yeah, Kodiak, we'll like once we know like an actual day and time, that probably would work best for everybody. Um, I think then we'll be able to like I'll set up the streams early enough, and that way we can post the links, you know what I mean? Or I'll
Yeah,
set it up maybe the day before or whatever, and that way we can post it, in chats or in the Discord or whatever, and that way it will be able to get other people in here, and we'll give other people more time. Like we had talked about it last week, but um, I hadn't set up the stream until I don't know, like maybe an hour before the stream. So,
yeah, yeah.
um, but now like I'll get a little bit more used to it too. So it'll be a little bit easier to have a link to. I feel like having a link to post about instead of just telling people it'll be a stream, this day and this time. I think it will definitely help. So, um,
Yep.
okay, sounds
And then
good.
you'll
Kayla.
definitely get those sillies that'll try to come up to like porn bomb us or do something stupid. So
Yep.
I mean, I know how to do overlays to put up before letting somebody up, but I don't know if you know how to do that type of stuff. So we'll just have to go with
Yeah,
the
I was gonna say, well, maybe we'll touch base or whatever. Hey Terrence. We'll definitely touch base and
what's up, Terrence?
either you can like walk me through it or I can figure out how, like,
Hmm.
if there's a way to make you, so you can also control whatever and help me out during the stream kind of thing too,
Yeah, you
So,
just add an admin with that.
mhm.
Mine is
Hey
I
Ryan.
have the paid StreamYard, but I have the I only have one admin seat myself.
Yeah,
So it's basically you just give the person your email. I'll show you behind the
okay,
scenes, Jules. We'll figure it out. Yeah,
cool. Hi
we'll
Ryan.
get it all done.
Hi Terrence.
What's up, Brian? What's up, Terrence? Yeah. So
Cool.
sounds good. Sounds like a plan. You
What
know,
is oh, okay. I was
what's
like,
today?
what the
Wednesday. We gonna keep it the same day every week, or
Yeah, I was thinking probably be a good idea. But because I keep forgetting to Wednesday, White Guy Wednesdays on Wednesday nights, it'll either help that it's already on a Wednesday, or it'll just be too much for everybody in one day. So I mean, it depends, I guess. Whatever, I don't care. It don't bother me.
That's gonna be every 2 weeks though, right? I don't think they're on tonight, are they? Are they doing weekly? I
I
thought it was
think
bi-weekly.
it might be bi-weekly. I'll have
Oh,
to like text Nate and find out.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think I automatically assume it was every week because it used to be, you know.
yeah.
Um,
I thought
do
I
any?
heard 2 weeks, but I could be wrong. But he's also kicking ass over there on all those catches with Alex. It's good to see
He,
that, you know.
he is absolutely.
You
He
know.
is. They're having a good time, trolling each other and getting catches. So
Yeah. Good
you
stuff,
know,
good stuff. Hmm.
yeah, they're a good group of guys for sure. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because
So
Nate's been on a few catches, but he was just
mhm.
on one with CC unit, right? It seems like the ones where
Yeah,
people do the ride-alongs is to where the people are like crazy. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
Yep.
that guy had a gun when he went with CC unit and Cup and Emily went on
Yep.
that catch. Turned out that guy had a gun. You know, so
Yeah, that is so scary.
hmm
It's like, I mean, and you never know too. Like those dudes are like, they either are too much of a puss to do anything, that they're just like, oh my God, there's a camera in my face. Or, who knows? They could just be completely scared to the point that they, you know, pull some dumb shit, you know?
yeah, yeah. That's why I always feel like telling the person that you're live streaming is very risky in itself because when somebody is sketched out just from you filming them, but you tell them
Right.
that you're live streaming and there's 2,000 people watching, that can make somebody even more violent, I think.
Right.
You know,
Oh, yeah,
so
because, then they're like, well, great. Now everybody's seeing it, and they don't know who's watching it. So, you know,
exactly. Yep. I lean
oh, he
towards the
did say
side of
every
not
2 weeks.
telling them. You know.
Yeah. So he did say every 2 weeks, Terrence. Awesome. Okay.
I thought I
So it
heard
won't
that.
be this week. It'll be next week then, because they went last week. It was so, all right.
It would be cool every week. I mean, it
Mhm.
sucks every 2 weeks because I enjoy White Guy Wednesday myself a
Oh, I
lot.
love it. I
You
love it.
know.
Yep.
So, and I played bingo last week. I got in on the cards and stuff. I didn't win shit though. I got like three
Yeah.
spots in both of the games.
I'm like me either. I came close the second game. I had like two more squares I needed. I was
Hmm.
so salty. I was like, I was like, Bomb, we gotta play again.
All the catchphrases that were read off, I'm like, I don't have none of this shit, man. Come on, man, give me some good ones here.
Right.
And the ones I had on my card were crazy enough as it was. I
Yeah.
wish I had saved that page because some of them were pretty funny. Um,
It was. It was. I was gonna say it was very cool. It being, things that catchers say or things that Preds say.
hmm
So it was definitely cool. Yeah, Ryan, we're gonna try to do it every week, I think. Um, because it's a stream mostly for recovery and survivor stories. But it could just be people who are in either or even active addiction or stressed out from the week and just, need to find a chill stream to like kind of let it all out. So I think it'll probably be a good idea to do it every week. You know, we all needed that. Yeah, we did. We did. The games was absolutely a great idea. I was super stoked that Bomb set that up. And I said, we need to do games every time. And Bomb's like, you better tell Nate because he said no. I was like, oh, I'm texting
exactly. Because I wrote that was fun during while I was
him.
taking place. That was fun. We got to play this again next week. And they put that comment up on the screen. And then like 2 minutes later, he's like, yeah, we're not playing that again. I'm like, oh man, I
Yeah,
like bingo, man. That was fun. So,
yeah. I mean, they
you
said
know.
there was other games. Like, I don't know anything about that stuff, so I have no idea like what other kinds of games and stuff there are, but would be super cool. Like, I enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
Plus, I think everybody's willing to make themselves look like a whole ass, having a good time. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So,
Yep.
um, it is really cool. Thank you,
Yeah.
Kodiak.
Yeah. Because
Um,
that one you could do from behind the computer screen, you
yeah.
know?
And I was
You
able to
know.
shrink the YouTube screen itself so I could still see, them talking and even though, whatever they were calling out was on the bingo board itself, but
Mm-hmm.
I was still able to hear them calling it out and, talking their little smack in between.
That's what I did. I
Um,
was on my laptop and I had the two tabs open, so I heard the talking.
mhm.
But I stayed on the bingo page. But it told you it read it out for you too. It showed
Yep.
oh, and then what the phrase was. So
Yep. Yeah, and
that was
that's why I said I liked it because I thought that's why Nate was saying we either needed to be on the computer or have two devices because I thought we wouldn't be able to exit off of or shrink the YouTube screen and play bingo because it was a link coming from YouTube. I didn't
yeah.
know, but I was able to do it, and I was like, hell yeah! Now I'm definitely down to play again.
Yeah.
You
And,
know?
and depending on what phone you have too, you can do split screen on your phone
Yeah.
as well.
Yep.
So
I have the S20. Um, and I think I can do the split screen. It says I can. I haven't done it before, but I guess eventually I'll find out.
yeah, I'm a Galaxy person myself.
Mm,
I've never had an iPhone.
mm-mm.
I've used one, but I don't
Mm.
I don't care for them.
No, I get confused using them. I'm like, nah, give me back my Android. I need my
Mm-hmm.
Galaxy, you know.
Exactly. Yep.
And Jen, that's exactly what we were saying is, when another survivor or person in recovery speaks out, it gives somebody else, more encouragement, more confidence, they get to be able to feel a little more comfortable. And makes it easier for them to want to come up and even if they're just telling a tiny piece of it, or saying the fact that, they have a past with it. Sometimes that in itself can be completely like life changing, because not many people really even speak and say, oh, I'm a survivor or, I've been through that or anything, it's tough to say. Um, so I think it is definitely going to play a huge role for
Yeah.
everybody in the community as a whole. Because I feel like, let's face it, the type of community we're in, like almost everything is surrounded by that. Like whether we have been a a survivor from being molested as a child or raped as an adult, sexually assaulted, whether we've had to watch a family member go through it or know someone close who's been through it and it still eats at you, you have that drive to protect kids from going through what somebody else has been through,
Mm-hmm.
so in some way, shape, or form, we have all had it in our lives, you know what I mean? Or in our life, So um I definitely think it just will help a lot. And I'm hoping too that people who may be in active addiction too will feel comfortable enough to start coming on and being able to speak on it and, not feeling, like somebody's going to judge them because they're actively using.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Everybody does it in their own time, you know what I mean? You know, that's why they always say if you can't help an addict, don't hurt one. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
You gotta start somewhere, like,
yeah,
I have my clean time and it started with 1 day and then it turned to 2 days and then that turned to going on 11 years soon. So,
yeah,
that's why they say it's day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute.
right,
Um, you know, and life isn't guaranteed neither. God may
right,
not wake me up tomorrow morning, but if he does,
absolutely,
I'll go on with my day the best way that I can,
right, yep,
you know.
yep.
So,
It's
and I'll try
definitely
to enjoy that day the best I can as well because the next day's not guaranteed.
exactly. it is a gift regardless, to be able to wake up,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to say that you're grateful for things, no matter how small it is huge, you know? So
Yep.
I have a gratitude notebook, I guess. But every night before I go to bed, and I've done it for the last 8 years that I've been clean, I write three things that I am grateful for. And it could be, something as small as like, my vacuum works, or, like, yeah, me having my own apartment and being away from my abuser. Is huge, So, I mean, I do that every day because it helps me to remain in my place. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can
Mm-hmm.
continue to remind myself, like, how far I've come, and because it's been one hell of a journey so far. So,
If
um,
keeping a journal, if keeping a journal is gonna
mhm.
only make you, better and feel better, why not? It ain't hurting nobody,
Right. Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yep. I agree.
You know,
100%. Uh,
it's basically an adult diary in a sense,
mhm.
you know. I mean,
Yep.
I don't, but that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. Maybe I should. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I should keep a journal myself.
I mean, I feel
Of
like everybody does it their own way, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, for the longest time, you know, I would go months without writing in it, but I had to keep up front for me where I came from, how hard it was for me to kick heroin in jail. That was
Mm-hmm.
not fun, at
Yeah.
all.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to go through that again. And I definitely always keep it I always have to remind myself, like, remembering living under the bridge and shooting up with muddy water or Mountain Dew just because I needed to be able to get high immediately. And I didn't have time to walk, you know, 20 yards to Dunks to get a fucking cup of water. I didn't care.
Yep.
It was just about getting that instant help so I didn't feel sick. So, um it's like to not be in that place is amazing. I can
Mm-hmm.
actually wake up in the morning and not feel some type of way. I'm not, my first thought is not, where am I gonna find my shit for today?
Yeah.
You know, I
That
need
was
to get off
always on the
E.
mind. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, okay, time to start making phone calls. I need to get off E. Like, I don't have to deal with that anymore.
Yep.
I can get up and be like, well, I gotta get these kids up. I need to go make a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
you know?
And that sounds daunting, but it's not as daunting as having to worry about where you're going to get your next fix 24/7. That
Yeah,
was the worst. And then
it
going
really
through
was.
withdrawals and, all that's because I've been there too, Well, the jails where I was though, they gave you Suboxone or methadone. A lot of
Yeah,
them don't. Um,
right.
but by me, they did. They gave that to you, which was good.
Yeah,
Um,
I was in Framingham Women's Prison. They were like, nope. Um, they literally just kept you in the infirmary, gave you comfort meds, like you got something for your nausea and Ativan to help you sleep, for the first 3 days. After that, you're on your own. Like they
hmm
didn't care. You're going right into Gen Pop. Bye. See ya. You
And
know.
they weren't much of comfort meds. To
No.
them, it was comfort meds, but to us, that was in
Yeah.
the throes of withdrawals.
Yeah.
You were still sick as hell. You
Oh
were.
yeah. Still having restless legs and oh, I
Yep.
hated that the most. Like when I was kicking, especially in jail, like so being so uncomfortable and on top of my legs moving like crazy and my muscles just, oh my God. I'm like, nope, never
Yep.
ever. No.
You get the chills, the sweats. You're crapping
Hmm.
yourself every freaking 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Between it all, it was just like you'd rather be dead.
Yeah. Yep.
It was too much, and that's why we would rob people to, like Jules said earlier, B&E. For people that don't know, that's breaking and entering. Um, and pretty much every addict has done that at some point. You know, or, you know, of course we robbed people, we stole from family. There's a lot of bridges that we burned that
Yeah,
we didn't want to burn, you know.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah, it's crazy. It sure is for sure.
you know, and if we got caught for half the stuff that we did, we would be serving life right now. I'm sure of that, you know.
Yeah, 'cause um, I'll never forget when I got arrested, and I was so sick that morning too. Like, my friends were in a house. I was just so dope sick. I fell asleep in the back seat of the car. So when the cops pulled up to the car, them banging on the window, and they were like, "Oh," and they're like, "How'd you, who you here with?" And was so in my withdrawal, like it was so bad. I didn't even remember getting in the car. I'm
Mm,
like looking around because I'm like, I thought we were at Sean's house. Like, how did we end up at this random person's house and why are we in his car? Like, I was confused. So, hey, Vlad. So it was like, I
what's up,
was
lad?
shocked in trying to kind of bring myself to reality, but I was in
Hmm.
like full addiction mode at that point. So it was pretty bad. But, when he got me out of the car and he put me in the police car and he's like, um, he said to me, and I will never forget either, but he was like, "We've been following you guys for 4 months. You haven't
Mm,
noticed the undercover cars?" And I was like, I mean, if you haven't seen Sean get out of the car and like taunting the undercover cops, because I mean, they couldn't do anything unless they caught us actively, in the act of, breaking into someone's house. So
yeah.
he would get out of the car and be like, "What?" Like, I'm like,
Mm,
"You're literally bringing attention." Um, but so
that'll
he's like,
happen.
"You haven't seen, the undercover cars following you. Do you know how much money we have spent and how much time we've wasted following you guys around for months?" And he's like, "Right now we're literally looking at you guys for 82 B&Es in the daytime." He's like, "This is ridiculous." He's like, "I'm genuinely sick and tired of you fucking junkies taking and destroying everybody else's lives." And I mean, when he put me in the car and he told me to shut up, "You fucking junkie," I was like, my God. Like, it was like,
Hmm.
what the fuck? Like, I was like, I can't even believe you just said that to me,
Yeah.
but it's like in the same aspect, I had to realize, like, I mean, I did it to myself, you know what I mean? My addiction genuinely brought me to that place, and just, I had to fucking kind of like, snap out of it and be like, there's no reason to feel guilt for myself really like that, because I wouldn't have been here had I, kind of chose a different path, but it wasn't obviously like an easy, you can just make an option type thing either. So, um, I mean, I over time got to the point where I was able to forgive myself, and realize it wasn't exactly a choice. It was, my addiction, your addiction becomes like a whole different version of you, you know, um, makes you, and yes, Taryn, it definitely turns you into something you're not.
Hmm.
Absolutely. 100%. So,
Yep. It's like, what has my life come to? That happened to me quite a bit because, you know, I also did the benzos. You know, I would pop, you know, 10 Xanny bars like they were candy. And, you know, Xannies, they build up in your system. So, you
yeah.
know, by the nighttime, you damn near blacked out. I would end up in, you know, a spot and not know how I got there, or I would be out already and be home, wake up the next morning and not remember the night before. It's like I could have killed somebody and not even known about it. You know,
Oh, yeah.
shit was very scary. So,
Yeah.
it's thank God I'm where I'm at today with the clear mind, and you know I'm not still, because in this community there's people from all ages. They could be, I mean, we could have people that are under 18 watching these streams as well, but I'll go
Right.
from 18 and say to 70 or 80 years old. So we got every age group in this community,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, I know Variety has to get to the store, and I have to go out and get the wee ones off the bus. My thing one and thing two.
Yep.
Um, so we are, Terrence and Vlad. I don't know if you guys were in here, but we're gonna do this every week. So if you guys happen to prefer like a day or time, um, you guys can either comment on the community post that's on the PP Mass Extra channel, or you can message either one of us and let us know. Um, and that way we can start kind of getting an idea of when to do it so we can post the link, way ahead of time. Um, but like I said, I don't really specifically have a time frame that works best for me. I prefer before 3 o'clock, just because then I don't have the boys here and their chaos in the background. Plus, I don't want them hearing me talking or other people talking about their addiction if I don't have to. I mean, I could always go into another room,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, if after 3 works best for anybody, just let us know and we'll make it work for sure. So,
Yeah.
but we appreciate you guys all coming in for sure
Yeah.
and hanging out.
Yep.
So,
Thank you everybody for coming in, and everybody that's gonna watch this on the replay. We appreciate everybody, and want to show support to everybody. So this is the place to do it, to hang out and talk about anything that you want to talk about, you know.
absolutely.
Um, so Jules, thank you for having me today, even though this was a joint stream.
I was gonna say, well, thank you
But
for co-hosting and
absolutely, you're
telling
welcome.
me your story. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Much
Yep.
love to you too, Vlad.
Yep. So I'm gonna drop down now. But everybody, thank you for coming. Jules, thank you. And we will do it again next week. We will talk behind the scenes and get it all figured out.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you,
All right.
Variety. Love
All
you and
right.
appreciate you.
Yeah. Love you too. Have a good one.
You too. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. If we did, would you just read? Oh, of course, I could just read your survivor stories. That's perfectly fine. You can, um, take a screenshot of your story, like you could write it on a piece of paper, and take a picture of it and send it to either me or Variety, or you could type it out and send it to us, and we can read it for you. That's absolutely an option. There's so many ways that you can do it. Whether you want to come on camera off or just call, just writing it down, it doesn't matter. If it's going to help you guys to get it out, which is the point, then that's all that matters. We just want to give everybody a place to do that. So, I will put my Instagram, because I don't know it off the top of my head. I think it's like Julie.Harmon.31 maybe. Um, but I will post it on the community page on the PP Mass Extra channel. So that way you guys can message me whenever. Okay. But thank you guys again for coming. I appreciate you all. And we will talk soon.